Types of chemical reactions: combination reaction, decomposition reaction, displacement reaction, double displacement reaction, oxidation, reduction reaction.
Combination reaction.
A reaction in which two or more substances combine to give a single substance is also known as combination or synthesis reaction. For example, burning of coal, formation of water from hydrogen and oxygen, etc.
Other examples of combination reactions are as follows. Ammonia and hydrogen chloride combine together to give ammonium chloride. Carbon and oxygen combine together to give carbon dioxide. Carbon monoxide and oxygen combine together to give carbon dioxide.
In most of the combination reactions, a large amount of heat is evolved. This makes the reaction mixture warm. The reactions in which the heat is released along with the formation of the products are called the exothermic reactions.
The correct answer is C.
A reaction in which a compound is broken into two or more simpler substances is known as decomposition reaction. For example, on heating calcium carbonate, it decomposes to give calcium oxide and carbon dioxide.
Here are some more examples. When ferrous sulfate is heated strongly, it decomposes to form ferric oxide, sulfur dioxide, and sulfur trioxide. When lead nitrate is heated strongly, it breaks down to form simpler substances like lead monoxide, nitrogen dioxide, and oxygen.
Characteristics of decomposition reaction. It is the opposite of the combination reaction. Most of the decomposition reactions require heat energy. The reactions that require energy to occur are known as the endothermic reactions. Decomposition can also be carried out in the presence of the other energy sources like electricity, sunlight, etc. Thermal decomposition. The decomposition reaction carried out with the help of heat is known as the thermal decomposition. For example, decomposition of calcium carbonate. On heating, it decomposes into calcium oxide and carbon dioxide gas.
Electrolytic decomposition. The decomposition reaction carried out with the help of electricity is known as electrolytic decomposition. For example, when an electric current is passed through water, it decomposes to produce hydrogen and oxygen gas. For detailed explanation, watch the animation carefully.
Water covers about 71% of Earth's surface. It is a chemical compound whose chemical formula is H2O, which means that water is made up of two elements, namely hydrogen and oxygen. However, how will we confirm that water is composed of hydrogen and oxygen? Well, in order to find the answer to this question, we have to split water. This we can do through a process called electrolysis. Electrolysis refers to the usage of electricity for decomposing a substance. In the given chemical equation, water is breaking down into hydrogen gas and oxygen gas when electricity is passed through it. Let us understand the process of electrolysis. The apparatus required for performing the electrolysis of water is called the Hofmann's voltmeter. The Hofmann's voltmeter consists of three joint upright tubes. The inner tube is open at the top to allow the addition of the electrolyte, which is the acidulated water. The two outer glass tubes are connected to a platinum electrode. These electrodes are connected to the positive and negative terminals of the battery. The electrode connected to the positive terminal of the battery is called the anode, and the electrode connected to the negative terminal of the battery is called the cathode. When the electric current is passed through the water, it dissociates into hydrogen ions and hydroxyl ions. Observe the slow evolution of the gases. At the cathode, the positively charged hydrogen ions get discharged as the hydrogen atoms that form the hydrogen molecules. At the anode, the negatively charged hydroxyl ions are discharged and they form water and oxygen gas. Each of the two gases displaces water and gets collected at the top of the two outer tubes. Now, observe the volume of the gases released at two electrodes. You will notice that the volume of the hydrogen gas released at the cathode is double the volume of the oxygen gas formed at the anode. However, how will we confirm that the gas released at the cathode is hydrogen gas and the gas released at the anode is the oxygen gas? In order to find out the answer to this question, collect the gas formed at the cathode in a test tube. And close the mouth of the test tube with a stopcock and label it C. Similarly, collect the gas formed at the anode and label it A. Take the test tube C and bring a lit matchstick close to its mouth. The pop sound proves that the gas in the test tube C is hydrogen. Now, take out the test tube A and bring the glowing splint close to the mouth of the test tube A. The ignition of the glowing splint proves that the gas in the test tube A is oxygen. So, from the electrolysis of water, we conclude that water is made up of two gases, hydrogen and oxygen. Also, the amount of hydrogen is twice the amount of oxygen. This is the reason why the chemical formula of water is H2O.
Photochemical decomposition. The decomposition reactions that take place in the presence of light are called the photochemical decomposition reactions. For example, decomposition of silver chloride. Applications of decomposition reactions. They are used for the following purposes: for extracting several metals from their oxides, digestion of food in our body, in photography, etc.
Can you identify the example of decomposition reaction out of these chemical reactions? Your options are given below. The correct answer is option A. Displacement reaction.
Those reactions in which an atom or a group of atoms present in a molecule is displaced by another atom are known as the displacement reactions.
For example, when a piece of iron is added to a solution of copper sulfate, iron displaces copper from copper sulfate. Let us watch an animation for the detailed explanation.
Displacement reaction is a reaction in which a more reactive metal displaces a less reactive metal from its salt solution. Let us understand it with the help of an experiment. Take an iron nail in a test tube. Add small quantities of copper sulfate solution in it and leave it for a day. Observe it the next day. Did you notice any change? The blue-colored solution of copper sulfate changes to light green, and a reddish-brown layer of copper is deposited on the iron nail. It happens because iron is placed above copper in the metal activity series and is more reactive than copper. Iron displaces copper from copper sulfate solution. Here we have observed that the product of the reaction between copper sulfate and iron are iron sulfate and copper. Therefore, from this experiment, we can conclude that iron is more reactive than copper.
When a strip of zinc metal is placed in a solution of copper chloride, then zinc chloride solution and copper metal are formed. Double displacement reaction.
A reaction in which two compounds exchange their ions to form two new compounds is called the double displacement reaction. For example, when sodium sulfate solution is treated with barium chloride solution, a white precipitate of barium sulfate and sodium chloride is formed. When silver nitrate solution is treated with sodium chloride solution, a white precipitate of silver chloride and sodium nitrate is formed.
When magnesium oxide solution is treated with calcium sulfide solution, a white precipitate of magnesium sulfide and calcium oxide is formed. Oxidation-reduction reaction.
The reaction in which reduction and oxidation takes place simultaneously is known as redox reaction.
Oxidation reaction is addition of oxygen to a substance. For example, or oxidation is removal of hydrogen from a substance. Reduction is addition of hydrogen to a substance. For example, or reduction is removal of oxygen from a substance.
Oxidation, reaction that involves the loss of electrons, is called the oxidation reaction. Reduction, reaction that involves the gain of electrons, is called the reduction reaction.
In these reactions, we can see that oxidation and reduction occur together. As oxidation and reduction reactions occur simultaneously, hence, during redox reactions, number of electrons lost is equal to number of electrons gained. Can you give the name of the process in which removal of hydrogen from a substance takes place? Your options are reduction, corrosion, oxidation, and dehydration. The correct answer is C, oxidation.
two common oxidation reactions taking place in our daily life are the corrosion of metals, the rancidity of food. Corrosion is a process in which metals are eaten up gradually by the action of air, moisture, or chemical on their surface. Rusting of iron is an example of corrosion.
The black coating on silver and the green coating on copper are other examples of corrosion. Corrosion causes damage to car bodies, bridges, iron railings, ships, and to all objects made of metal. It can be prevented by painting surface, by greasing, or by galvanization.
Rancidity is the deterioration of fatty and oily food by the oxidation, leading to unpleasant smell and taste. Some of the factors that accelerate rancidity are the presence of traces of metals like zinc, iron, etc., light, water, bacteria, and molds.
Rancidity can be prevented by using airtight and light-protecting packaging, by using antioxidants like vitamin A and C, by using spices as rosemary and sage, and by filling nitrogen gas in chips container. Sometimes you feel unpleasant smell and taste produced in the fats. Do you know the name of that process? Your options are reduction, corrosion, acidity, and rancidity. The correct answer is rancidity. Let us quickly summarize the types of chemical reactions. Let's recap. A process that leads to the transformation of one set of chemical substances to another one is called chemical reaction. Chemical equation is a representation of a chemical reaction with the help of chemical symbols and formulae of substances involved in it. Combination reaction is a reaction in which two or more substances combine to give a single substance. Decomposition reaction is a reaction in which a compound is broken into two or more simpler substances. Displacement reaction is a reaction in which an atom or a group of atoms present in a molecule is displaced by another atom. Double displacement reaction is a reaction in which two compounds exchange their ions to form two new compounds. Redox reaction is a reaction in which reduction and oxidation takes place simultaneously. Addition of hydrogen or removal of oxygen is called reduction. Addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen is called oxidation.